Hello cardboard lovers, it's Cardboard Badger here. I hope you're doing well, and today we have for you another deck tech, Standard Legal Theros Beyond Death, and we are going with Mono Black Disruption, a deck all about removing our opponent's cards from their hand as quickly as possible and also punishing them for any actions they do on their turn. So if that is your thing, please stick with us, and all I would like to say is if you enjoy this, please like, share and subscribe, and also let us know in the comments below if there was anything you would like to change. So that being said, we're going to get straight into it, starting off with, and there's not many, our 11 creatures. We have 3 copies of Knight of the Ebon Legion. For 1 black mana, we have a Vampire Knight, 1/2, amazing early card, fantastic card later in the game. For 2 and a black, Knight of the Ebon Legion gets +3/+3 and gains Death Touch till the end of turn. So we can throw this under the bus and kill something that our opponent has that might be a bit large. And also, we got the chance with +1/+1 counters of the Knight getting bigger every time our opponent loses 4 or more life. So absolutely fantastic card, 3 copies of. Next, we have a playset of Bloodthirsty Aerialist. 1 black, we got a Vampire Rogue, 2/3 flyer, and whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on the Aerialist. There are many opportunities to gain life in this deck, and this can become pretty massive and obviously just take over the entire game. Really do like this card, so a definite playset. Next, we have 2 copies of Ayara, First of Locthwain. For 3 mana, black, we have a legendary creature, Elf Noble, a 2/3, and whenever First of Locthwain or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. You can also tap it and sacrifice another black creature, drawing you a card. So amazing card, and obviously as all our creatures are going to be black, we are going to be gaining life every single time we play one, draining our opponent and also making our Bloodthirsty Aerialists even bigger. So absolutely fantastic card, and we are going to be playing 2 copies. Next, we have 1 copy of Rotting Regisaur. For 2 and a black, we have a Zombie Dinosaur, a 7/6, and at the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card. So, quite good to play later on in the game if needed when our hand is pretty empty. And obviously, if it is a problem, we can use Ayara's ability and sacrifice it if needed, but always a good threat. So, 1 copy of Rotting Regisaur. Next, we have 1 copy of the Haunt of Hightower. For 6 mana, 4 black, we have a legendary creature. It's a vampire. It's a 3/3 flying lifelinker. And whenever the Haunt of Hightower attacks, defending player discards a card. So really important in our deck. And also, whenever a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 counter on the Haunt of Hightower. A lot of this deck is all about removing cards from our opponent's hand, which will enable us to have this vampire become pretty large, and obviously having lifelink as well will keep us in the game a lot longer. So wonderful card, but just the 1 copy. Next, we have 1 copy of Davriel, Rogue Shadow Mage. For 3 mana, 2 and a black, we have a 3 loyalty planeswalker with, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, Davriel, Rogue Shadow Mage deals 2 damage to them. So amazing in this deck. We can be pinging away for 2 damage a turn if we manage to empty their hand, and also -1 on the loyalty. Our target player will discard a card, which will then trigger into other things, such as our Haunt of the Hightower. So amazing, but just the 1 copy of. Next, we have our non-creature spells, starting off with 2 copies of Kaya's Ghost Form. For 1 black mana, we have an Aura. Enchant creature or planeswalker you control, and when enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So this enables us to possibly throw something under the bus or protect something and then have it returned. So fantastic card, just the 2 copies. Next, we have a full playset of Vicious Rumours. For 1 black mana, we have a sorcery with Vicious Rumours deals 1 damage to each opponent. Each opponent discards a card and puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. And you gain a life. So for this deck, absolutely wonderful. We're reducing our opponent's hand. We're putting things into the graveyard just in case we're playing this later on in the game. And that will trigger our Haunt of the Hightower. We're also gaining life as well, which is going to trigger our Bloodthirsty Aerialist. So for 1 mana, this is absolutely ridiculous, and we have to play 4. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful card indeed. Next, we have 2 copies of Sorin's Thirst. For 2 mana, black, we have an instant with Sorin's Thirst deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life. So this could, if we've already blocked something, do the last 2 damage we need to finish it off. And obviously, we are going to be gaining life to keep us in the game longer and also trigger our Bloodthirsty Aerialist. 2 copies of. Next, we have just 1 copy of Forever Young. For 2 mana, 1 and a black, we have a sorcery with put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library and draw a card. So if later on in the game we have used many of our creatures, this gives us the opportunity to handpick the ones that we need to bring back and also draw a card too. So just the 1 copy, but very vital in this deck. Next we have a full playset. We have 4 copies of Mind Rot. For 3 mana, 2 and a black, we have a sorcery with target player discards 2 cards. That's what we want to be doing in this deck. We don't even want to cast anything, just get those cards out of their hand. And again, it can trigger the Haunt of Hightower if we happen to have that out, but in general, just making their hand smaller. So we are going to be playing 4 copies, and also, for removal, we're going to be playing 4 copies of Murder. 3 mana, 1 black, destroy target creature. Next, we have a full playset again. We have Underworld Dreams for 3 mana, black. We have an enchantment with whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player. In multiples, this is ridiculous, and obviously, depending on our opponent's playstyle, if they happen to be playing blue and drawing a lot of cards, this is disgusting. So, a full playset of. Next, we have 2 copies of Revenge of Ravens. For 4 mana, 3 and a black, we have another enchantment with whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life and you gain a life. So everything that they do, we are going to be draining them. We are going to be gaining life to stay in the game longer, make our Bloodthirsty Aerialists even larger, and just a solid card. So only 2 copies, but when they're out, they can be pretty devastating. And our final card, before we get onto the lands, we have a full playset of Davriel Shadowfuge. For 4 mana, 3 and a black, we have a sorcery with target player discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. So everything we want to do with this deck, drain our opponent, reduce their hand size. Pretty good for this deck. So we are going to be playing 4 copies. And for the lands, we have 24 in total. We have 2 copies of Castle Lochthwain, enabling us to draw some cards later on in the game if needed. And we also have 22 swamps. And that is it. That is the Theros Beyond Death Mono Black Disruption Standard Deck Tech. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let us know in the comments below if there is something you would change and why. I would love to hear your views. And obviously, if you have enjoyed this or any of the other videos on the channel, if you would like to support us, that would be wonderful. Please like, share and subscribe, and we will see you again soon here on Cardboard Badger.